Hi, I'm Chef Jessica Roberts. I'm a culinary instructor at Cookery, and today I'm going to share with you spiced soft ginger cookies. So, the biggest tip when baking is measuring your ingredients properly. And the biggest thing that people do wrong is when they measure flour. So even though it is really tedious and can get a little bit old, it's really important to measure your flour properly. I'm going to start by scooping my flour into my measuring cup, and I'm going to start to scoop until it's just about overflowing. And when it's overflowing by a little bit, I'm just going to level that off with my finger. So to my flour, I've got a couple of cups of flour here. I'm going to add my salt and my baking soda to help with rising. I'm going to add my spices. So in this, I've got my beautiful spices, my ginger, my cloves, and my cinnamon, and just tap them right in there. Give them a little stir just to incorporate all of those ingredients together. The next step is that I'm going to cream my sugar and my butter together. So I'm going to take 3/4 of a cup of unsalted butter that's softened and at room temperature and 1 cup of regular granulated sugar. I'm just going to start at low speed. We're just going to let our sugar and our butter mix together until it's nice and creamy. The butter is a little bit lighter in color and it's a little bit fluffy. All right, it's really important to sort of stop halfway through, scrape down the sides of your bowl, and then process for a few more seconds. Our next ingredients, really simple, and of course probably not a surprise that a ginger cookie would have a little bit of molasses. We're using fancy molasses today as opposed to blackstrap. And the reason for this is fancy molasses will produce a little bit of a milder flavor. It's not quite as robust as blackstrap molasses, and it's a little bit sweeter. So I'm just going to tip my molasses and my egg into my creamed butter and sugar and just allow those to incorporate until just blended. And an egg. Like I said, we're just going to blend our molasses and our egg into our creamed butter and sugar and just mix those until they're just incorporated. And now all we need to do is tip in our dry ingredients. So we've got everything ready to go. I'm going to put the whole amount right into the mixer, and I'm going to just turn it on, starting on slow so nothing sprays out of the bowl, and we'll just let that mix in just until it's incorporated. Okay, my dough is just about done. Just going to give these beaters or this beater a really good scrape. I don't want to waste anything. That's good. So I'm just going to make sure that there's no sort of flour or butter that's not been incorporated in the bottom of my bowl, and just sort of finish off stirring it together by hand just to make sure that everything is blended. Looks great. I've got a really lovely sort of dough. It's a little bit sticky, but it's going to be beautiful. Okay, it's time to roll them out into a little bit of sugar and put them on the baking tray. So I'm going to use 2 spoons, just 2 little sort of teaspoons for my drawer, and I'm just going to gather a little bit of dough. You don't want to make them too big, sort of maybe about a couple teaspoons, maybe 1.5 teaspoons total of dough. And I'm just going to take a little bit, and I'm going to roll it into my hands. And it's a little bit sticky, but it's not sticking too badly. If you find that it's really sticking, just gently oil your hands and it will prevent it from sticking. And I've got a bowl here that I'm putting them in that has a little bit of granulated sugar. Nothing else, just sugar. I've got 2 trays ready for the oven. So again, I'm going to put them in at 325 for 12 to 15 minutes. So our cookies are all baked, and I can't wait to enjoy one. A couple things to keep in mind is don't overbake them. They're still going to be a little bit soft in the middle and a bit crisp around the edges when you take them out of the oven. Make sure you measure your ingredients properly, and most of all, have fun.